And this is like really important. Y'all listening?
I'm listening. Tell us. Let us know.
Nothing is going to change. If you suddenly think that Amazon is going to be this fair marketplace where everything is above board and people are all now playing by the same rules, you smoking something. Like, I still know really aggressive sellers who do like super black hat stuff who are going to continue to do what they are doing, right? They might dial it back for a second. They might like, okay, we're just going to like just watch and wait a little bit, but guaranteed they're going to go right back to doing what they were previously doing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the ZonCon podcast. This is Andrew Erickson, your host as always. Happy to be here with Michelle Barnum-Smith. Michelle, thanks for coming back onto the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a year, so it's time to reconnect, refresh, update everybody on the fun stuff that's going on.
Awesome. Yeah. And Michelle is she's the ManyChat Michelle. She's the queen of ManyChat. She's also kind of moving more into the like marketing Michelle, not just the ManyChat. She is more than just one thing. She is many things. She is all things marketing. So Michelle, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Nice. And the thing I love about Michelle is that she has been a huge active part of our Amazon seller community for years and years. I don't remember the first time I met you, Michelle, but you're like always on stages. You're always on podcasts. You're always like doing stuff. And like, I love it. I love that you're here. You always provide value. You always give us like cool, awesome stuff. So thank you so much for like being an awesome part of our community.
Yeah. I can't remember when I met you, actually. I feel like I've just always known you, you know? It's like one of those things where it's just like, when did we meet? I can't even remember. It's just been so long, and I appreciate it.
Let's see. Did you ever go to China Magic?
No.
I wonder, it must have been at one of Athena's events then. One of Athena Severi's events. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. I just feel like we've just been friends since birth, basically.
I know too much about you. I know too much about you.
Oh yeah, you shared some of those like know too much about you stories on some more public forums, and I was like, Michelle, those are like three. We need to be three beers in.
I'm pretty sure they came up in Vegas, and you're right. Like, I wasn't like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, along with Andrew's incriminating stories. So, if you guys want to hear these stories, you just got to pull them aside sometime in Vegas, and then you can hear them.
I love it. So Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. We are going to be talking about this new thing that is kind of making quite a buzz in the community. Yeah. Speaking of supporting our community, we're going to be talking about this new ToS, the Terms of Service update that Amazon changed, and also kind of what that means for us and our launching, our ranking, and stuff like that. So the ToS, we could probably do like a whole like 5-hour discussion. Yeah, right. Let's just jump in. We could do a whole 5-hour discussion on it, but like we'll keep it down to like 5-10 minutes on the ToS stuff.
Right. And I think it's important to note that I have purposefully remained quiet about this over the last, months, essentially, because I believe in, like providing information as when you have a clear view of everything that's going on. And, essentially all of the panic kind of started in early October when both Rebate Key and Elite Seller, who subsequently are owned by the same person, probably have shared Amazon APIs, when both of their kind of accounts were suspended, and Amazon API access were suspended, and sellers who had used Rebate Key or Elite Seller and had those developer level connections to their Seller Central account received this kind of notice that they were no longer available, and as well as a gentle reminder from Amazon Legal that anything within kind of these terms that supposedly could be going on were against ToS, or against the, what is it called? The seller agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was kind of like the first shockwave that kind of hit, and a lot of panic. And I like, these things always happen when I'm traveling, right? I'm going to an event, I'm like traveling, I'm in the sky when this drama happens, and I land and I go to whatever like opening party this event is hosting, and everybody's like, "Did you hear? Did you see? What do you think?" And I'm like, What's going on?" Like, what has happened? I always resent that, where I'm like, I have like no opportunity to actually like find out what's really going on, as opposed to just, hearing about rumor and conjecture. And that's what a lot happened, right? If we're talking in the timeline of things, because then shortly thereafter, everybody was hitting Amazon's forum and pestering the forum mods about, what does this mean? What's allowed? What's not allowed? Are rebates no longer allowed? We'll get back to that statement here in just a minute. And then the forum moderator going on a tangent, and everybody basically, having the second set of shockwaves, and everybody's response to that. And then obviously the recent ToS updates that essentially went and were made official on November 26th, that kind of have officially called out some of these, I guess, ranking and launching manipulation tactics, right? And by those, we're meaning rebates, search, find, buy, two-step URLs, magic links, whatever you want to call them. And what's funny to me, and I don't know, Andrew, maybe this is funny to you too, is that rebates and, I don't know, rank manipulation have been going on for a long time. And rebates specifically really jumped into the scene as a ranking tactic in 2019. And I kind of joke, and I'm like, just a little facetious here, guys. But like, if we were to go, walk up to our Amazon, ask Amazon's permission, be like, "Hey, I'm gonna send some rebates to people via like keyword links and kind of search, find, buy, so that I can improve my ranking. You cool? You cool with that, Amazon?"
Yes.
They would have said no. They would have said no. And so I think for me, the panic and all of the, I don't know, all of the fear and the fear mongering that's gone on has been a little overshot, because the reality is, guys, is that every day you show up to sell on Amazon, you are taking a risk. You're taking you're taking your business life in your hands, because the Amazon marketplace is difficult, right? That's why Andrew has this podcast. That's why there's courses, there's mastermind groups like Titan that we both contribute to try to make sense of the madness, right? And try to calm the crazy that goes on out there. So my point in just saying all of this is like, guys, are we surprised? It wasn't okay before October. It wasn't okay before the forum mod post. It wasn't okay before the ToS compliance things. It's always been a tactic of manipulation, right? And so moving forward, you have to kind of gauge how aggressive you want to be in manipulating your rank. And there's lots of tactics that we're going to talk about today on that are a little bit more white hat or gray, light gray in the scale. But let me tell you guys something. And this is like really important. Y'all listening?
I'm listening. Tell us. Let us know.
Nothing is going to change. If you suddenly think that Amazon is going to be this fair marketplace where everything is above board and people are all now playing by the same rules, you smoking something. Like, I still know really aggressive sellers who do like super black hat stuff, who are going to continue to do what they are doing, right? They might dial it back for a second. They might okay, we're just going to just watch and wait a little bit, but guaranteed they're going to go right back to doing what they were previously doing. and even worse than rebates, even, so far as like paying for reviews and doing super black hat stuff to make their listings stand out. So if you think that suddenly the marketplace is going to be this fair place and all is well, and it's this, like, you're lying to yourself. And
Michelle,
I think that's just
that summary of the forum post and the TOS, that was perfect. That was amazing. Yes, that was like I can tell you've done that before, because I was like 5 minutes and then boom, she delivered. Awesome. So one thing I'll add on that is that these TOS things, like you said, that they always kind of they're always changing, right? And we always like, I think I like the point that you said that if you thought this was like super duper 100%, 110% kosher, you were either ignorant or delusional, right? And so it has always been a little bit, rank manipulation. But the thing that's frustrating is that everything we do in marketing is rank manipulation, right? Like when Google says don't do rank manipulation, but you're like, they're like, well, what do you do to get rank on Google? Well, generally you're supposed to write good content, you're supposed to have good links, you're supposed to have like good metadata, blah blah blah. Well, is that rank manipulation to like have a good website and make sure you're indexed and make sure this, like, is that no, that's just like playing the game, right? It's like when you're playing when you're playing basketball, is it not, if there's, what's a good analogy? If you can sometimes intentionally break the rules, right? If you intentionally foul somebody so that you kind of like break their streak a little bit, right? Well, that's against the rules to foul somebody, but it's part of the game.
Right. I think you see this a lot in soccer, right? Like the flopping about that goes on. It's just like, can you guys just run instead of just, flopping around on the field like dead fish?
That's a great example.
I think the point is that like even if you change your headline to include a new keyword in phrase form, that can have a massive effect on rank. And so, to your point, Andrew, I think I'm not one of those people that's going to slice and dice TOS to be like, well, what do they mean here and what do they mean there? Because the reality is that if Amazon's going to try to take down your listing, they're going to go with their definition of what TOS is, not our definition and not your definition of what TOS is. They're going to play, they have their rules and they're going to play by their rules, right? And I think the reality is that as business owners, you just have to understand the risk and then determine your level of risk. That's just really it. Now, that being said, as me and my team have evaluated our course of action moving forward for clients, a lot of it is collaborative with our clients and saying, okay, here's your options. What do you want to do? And they're kind of like, I want the best performing option. And quite frankly, that continues to be rebates with two-step URLs, and specifically driving traffic through Google. Now, that might change, and that will change over time. But as with anything on Amazon, we're constantly pivoting based on what the algorithm is responding to. Yeah. And even if we change to something that's completely neutral, like where we're just saying, hey, here's an on-listing coupon, and let's just promote this with external traffic, like if we wanted to run Facebook ads to it, or if you have a list of some sort, you want to drive traffic to it, that can also be construed as rank manipulation. So it's kind of one of those things where we're playing around with different marketing tactics, but it's important to understand that no matter what you choose to do, there's going to be some level of risk. And so you have to kind of understand what your options are so that you can make wise decisions.
Yes, I love that. Yay. That's makes a lot of sense. So you find that most of your clients are still using rebates and still using two-step URLs and stuff like that.
Yeah. And we have very large clients. So if you guys aren't familiar, I own a software platform called EasyBot, and EasyBot makes setting up and running marketing campaigns easier. And one of the marketing campaigns that we have available is a rebate campaign. And the majority of clients continue to use it and see really good results. Now, coming up, we're beta testing as we speak some additional non-rebate, non-API ranking campaigns. that just are just about driving traffic, just about getting traffic to your listing, building a list, and then driving that traffic to your list. And we're already seeing good results with that as well. So very shortly on EasyBot, we're going to have a variety of marketing campaigns available that people can choose from. We'll have one that's like identified as the ranking and launching section. It's like the beaded curtain room at the video store. That's like, okay, we're going into this room. We know what we're here to do. You have to understand these are the risky flows, or But at the end of the day, as a seller, you need to have options to choose from. And I'm really actually excited about this because I am a marketer. I've been doing marketing for over 20 years. And when I first started teaching people about external traffic and chatbots in 2017, 18, I had like a wide variety. I had a course with a bunch of templates in it, and I had a wide variety of templates in there for all sorts of purposes and seasonal campaigns, all sorts of fun stuff. And then Rebates hit the scene, and people were kind of like, okay, I don't need anything else but Rebates, because Rebates are the shiz and they are what get me results. And so come October, when all the crap started and the panic ensued, people are just like, what do you have besides Rebates? I got to do something besides Rebates. And I was like, finally, at last, I have an opportunity to really teach and train people how to do marketing. Because I think most sellers, are showing up and just hoping that, hey, if I win some traffic, that's enough. And this obviously proves that it's not anymore. That Amazon is rewarding brand behavior. On Amazon, you're not just showing up with this random assortment of products. This is not just a flea market where you're selling a garlic press and a hair bonnet and maybe a supplement. It's like, no, we're rewarding people who are, and businesses who are showing up with a consistent face, building a storefront, doing things through the Amazon communication. Like, did you know that Amazon, you can now do email marketing through Amazon? I learned about this yesterday. I'm like super interested to see how this tool plays out, because
let's touch on that in a second. But I want to the email marketing stuff, because I have some good insight on that. But
I'm excited.
But before that, I want to give a little bit more perspective. I love what you're saying there, Michelle. That really having the core concepts of how marketing works and how to engage people, that's really, really important. And that's why I always love thinking about, like, there's strategies, there's tactics, and there's tools, right? So,
Yes.
Or vision. I should really say vision first, the vision of what I want to create in the world. And then there's strategies that kind of that allow me to then tackle that vision. Then there's the tactics that allow me to implement those strategies. And of course, there's tools that allow me to give me the tool, right? The ability, the mechanism to implement those tactics. I want to talk about vision, because it's grand vision of what you want to build, whatever. But the strategies, the ultimate strategy, I think that's where you should spend a lot of your time, is thinking, okay, strategically, what's the most important part of the business? If you reduce it down, it's a really good product, something that's good quality product that people want and are going to return, and it makes sense, offered at a good price and good positioning and good stuff like that, right? That looks nice. You do need to have like a good listing. You need to have a good setup that's marketed well, which includes paid advertising, and also the non-advertising part of marketing, which is engaging people, having a good listing, figuring out how to bring people, figuring out how to get people to hear about you and know, like, and follow you, and then to engage them, and then to influence them to potentially buy your products if it's a good fit for them. So those core concepts: product development, selection, marketing. That's really it, I guess. If you really reduce it down, make a good product, do a good job selling it.
So I've been teaching marketing strategy for, I don't know, like 10 years. And I liken it a lot to dating, because I think it's really accessible from people are like, okay, yes, I understand. So to your point, Andrew, you have to start with a product. So if anybody out there is single, or you remember your single days and shudder, I'm like so grateful. I'm celebrating my 10-year wedding anniversary here in a few months. So congrats. I'm like very grateful. But you think first the product is you as an individual. I have like, sweet friends who are still single, and they basically have given up. And so they have let themselves go in some areas and are not
Bad
like,
product
or like
development.
they need to do a little product development, or like, or this, you very typically see this in men where there it's like some big fat dude, Jabba the Hutt, and he thinks he's like God's gift to women. He's living in his mom's basement playing video games all day. He doesn't have a steady job, and he's wondering like, why are women not just flocking to me, kind of
His
a
hair
thing. And
moved
it's
from the
like,
top of his head down to his neck, right? Yeah.
oh my gosh. Thanks for that visual. But yeah, I mean, like, it's like, how can you expect somebody to want this product? You know, like you have to start with a quality product. And then you have to identify, well, who are the best customers who would be interested in this product? Like I had to go through this for myself and really identifying in my single years, like, what am I, not just me, what am I really interested in, but also who am I attracting with my behavior, as well as where am I like going to, try to attract and find that person. So it really is kind of like, okay, what do you have to offer? Who is that product best for from a customer audience standpoint? And then how do you put yourself in the best positions to find that customer? You're not going to find it sitting, in your basement on a Friday night, again, and expect like Prince Charming or Princess Charming to like be banging down your door and being like, come marry me. I am the person, right? The Rapunzel model does not work. Right? You got to get out of the tower. You got to get out of the basement. So the same principles obviously apply to our businesses as well. We have to have this quality listing and quality product. We have to put a good face on it, have a quality listing. I got to tell you guys, in all the ranking campaigns, and I've run thousands and thousands and thousands, you can rank almost any product. But people come back to me over and over again and be like, well, my ranking didn't stick. Why didn't it work? And I'm like, au contraire, mon frere, the ranking campaign worked. It's your listing that can't convert organic sales. A ranking campaign, quite frankly, just puts you in a position to get eyes on your listing. But if you're just selling a product that looks like every other competitive listing out there, it's not going to win, right? And if you don't have social proof, you don't have good copy, all of these things, all this great stuff that goes into listing optimization, if you are sliding down the ranks, it's because your listing is not converting people. So what can you do to improve the product and that branding experience and appeal to your actual customer? Chelsea Cohen is a brilliant copywriter, and she trains and teaches and obviously provides this as a service to clients. But talking about showing up to talk the story of your customer, like it's not just about the benefits you have to offer. Have you guys ever been on a date where somebody like just talked about themselves the whole time and how great they are? How did that make you feel? Was that a good, positive experience? Or were you just like, ugh, afterwards? They didn't ask me anything about me. They weren't interested in what I was interested in, like all those things. Well, that can be how your customers feel when they show up on your listing and you're just talking about me the whole time. Right? Nobody cares about your features. They care about what you can do for them. Right. And at the end of the day, like maybe I'm taking this dating analogy too far, but it just really, really resonates and applies, at least for me. And so like, there's just so many things that you need to do to show up and have a better offering in the first place. And Amazon's a great place to test things, and you can immediately see whether you're getting results for it or not. Right.
Yep. I love that. And I wanted to say, I love that analogy of dating and like putting yourself out there, and then the people being in your basement, never showing your face to the world. No one's going to beat down your door, even if you're gorgeous, even if you're Rapunzel. I love that Rapunzel analogy. So Michelle, let's just assume we're not doing rebates. I know a lot of people still are doing rebates. A lot of people I know have chosen not to do them. I'm going to say about 2/3 of people about half of people I've talked to have kind of said, I'm not going to do the rebate strategy just because the ToS update, whatever, right? Okay. So what are some, again, strategy is to get people to know, like, and trust me. I want to build a great brand
Right.
that has a great influence, and people are going to know, People are going to want to, I want to beat and put myself out there, right? I want to work,
Right.
I'm going to work out and I'm going to like go put myself out there. That's great strategy. But tactically, what are
Yes.
some ways now that aren't just rebates to basically influence rank?
Okay. Well, I mean, PPC is the main one, right? And of course, Amazon wants you to do PPC because that is how they make money, folks. That is how they make money
Yes.
beyond,
They have a
all the
stated goal
storage
to be the
fees.
largest. They have a stated goal to be the largest paid advertiser in the world. Like they want to beat Google
Oh
and
yeah.
Facebook and everything else for
Yeah.
paid advertising. So Google's entire business, their $1 trillion, whatever, I don't know what their market cap is, but roughly $1 trillion. 98% of revenue comes from search ads, right? And
Yes,
Amazon wants to
yeah.
beat them. So, and they're like number
Right.
3 or 4 right now.
Right.
So like they're like, it's not like a pipe dream. It's like, oh, this is very likely going to happen in the next year or 5, right? So yes,
Right.
PPC, they love it.
Yes, absolutely. And I am no PPC expert, so that is where I will leave it. Beyond that, Amazon is a search based marketplace, and whenever in previous iterations of my marketing agency, sometimes I would in times past I worked with like local marketers or local businesses, and I would have like plumbers come to me and be like, "Oh, I really want to do Facebook ads," and or like do have a billboard on the freeway, and I'm like, "No," because you can't create demand for plumbing. Like demand for plumbing is created by pain. And so the best type of marketing a plumber can do is to be found when the pain is occurring, right? And so that means Google AdWords, like showing up in the phone book, like is the phone book even a thing anymore? But it's like you can't create demand on Facebook because the customer journey, nobody thinks about their toilet until the crap has hit the van, right? So I've got
Or
too
hit
many
the
analogies
floor, I
today.
guess, in that
Yeah,
case.
hit the floor. Yeah, exactly. The panic. It's all very panic driven, right? And Amazon is actually a very similar marketplace because people are bringing their pain in whatever level of pain that is or form of pain that is. To the search bar and are typing in looking for solutions. So the most important thing you can do is to be found, right? To be found and to show up. And so PPC is definitely one of those places that you can invest your marketing dollars to be found. Now, the other area that we focus on and what we're with EasyBot, our kind of mantra is to make external traffic easy, right? And one of the main ways that we encourage you to do that is by building a brand, building an audience interested in your brand, and specifically an owned audience. So what I mean by that is that you are not building an audience on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. You can do all those amazing things. You please do, and I'm happy to talk about how you can do that. But the problem with those platforms is that at any point in time, they can take that audience away from you. I've seen this multiple hundreds, thousands of times, probably in the last year. Even like major influencers that you follow on Facebook, on Instagram, if they do something that Instagram does not like, they can lose their account and obviously all of the followers who are following those people. And so you have more control, you have more power when you own your audience. So what I mean by that is that you own them in a channel that you can control, like email, SMS, chat, those types of channels. And in times past, it used to be that like the bigger the list, the better. But the reality is that now, just like with stats on followers on Facebook or Instagram, somebody might have 5 million subscribers, but it's all about engagement. Like like followers is kind of like that vanity. That vanity number. It's like, how engaged is that audience? That's what's more important. And if you guys are doing like influencer marketing shopping, make sure you ask those influencers for their engagement numbers. And you're not just saying, oh, she's got 5 million followers. That's amazing. It's like, well, how many people actually read those posts? How
Hmm.
many people actually like show up for that content? And if you guys have ever tried to do social media yourself, you know this, you see this. You put a post out there and you might have like, 1,000 followers, but the algorithm is not in your favor. Instagram and Facebook show less than 0.25% of your followers your actual posts and your actual traffic. So you might have the best posts in the world, the best social media in the world, but the algorithm does not actually like work in your favor. That's just how Facebook and Instagram are set up to work. And TikTok's not better. They're about 3%, but that number is going down very quickly because there's so much content on the platforms.
Review from iTunes from Hello World. That's the name of the person. Hello World. Hi, Hello World. Motivating and no BS. Andrew has a unique ability to both motivate you and reassure you to start and grow your business. Very helpful. Thank you, Hello World. Thank you for that iTunes review. If you have not left an iTunes review, I would greatly appreciate it. Just go to iTunes, find the podcast, leave us a 5-star. If you want, you can leave a review if you want. Just hit those 5 stars. It really helps people find the podcast. Just like an Amazon product, iTunes also needs these product reviews too.